Hey there, innovation champions. Melissa Dinwiddie here. I just spent 4 days in Austin, Texas at my third Influence, which is the National Speakers Association's national conference. 800 speakers, actually over 800 speakers in one hotel. An introvert's nightmare, honestly. The noise in the grand ballroom, in the dining hall, got so loud from overlapping conversations that I pulled out the concert earplugs that I keep in my handbag for loud music venues, just so that I could hear myself talk at my own table. Now, every year that I've gone to this conference, this is my third year, I have come home with a notebook full of things to learn, new tactics, new frameworks, new ways to grow the business. And this year, flipping back through my notes, I noticed something different. How much of it I already knew. More than once, in fact. I walked into a breakout session, sat down, and within 10 minutes, I realized that it wasn't what I needed. Now, past Melissa would have stayed anyway. I was such a people pleaser. I would have stayed because leaving, felt sort of impolite. And, finishing what you start felt like the responsible thing to do. Present Melissa got up and left, even knowing that the next session might be a dud too. Here's what I've come to believe. Staying in something that isn't working purely so it looks like commitment isn't discipline. It's just a slower way of learning the same thing you already knew 10 minutes in. The useful question was never, should I have stuck it out? It was, what would I do differently right now with what I just noticed? Now, that's not a new idea that I picked up in Austin, Texas. It is actually experiment number 5 from my book, Innovation at Work. And it's one I use on myself constantly. So here is a micro experiment for you to steal. It's called the Learning Autopsy, experiment number 5. And it takes 10 to 15 minutes. It works either solo, like I just did when I was in Austin at the conference, or it works with a team. I wrote about it for a team in Innovation at Work, and it is remote friendly as well. So here is the setup. After any setback, maybe a session that flopped, or a project that stalled, or even a conversation that went sideways, ask one question. What would we do differently if we could replay it? Not whose fault was it, not what went wrong, just what's the adjustment? Why this works. Blame shuts people down. Curiosity opens them up. Teams that default to autopsy over blame build the kind of psychological safety that makes people willing to try the next thing instead of quietly protecting themselves from the last one. I ran a version of this on myself in real time in a hotel conference room in under 60 seconds. This isn't landing. What would I do differently? Leave. Try the next one. No committee meeting required. So here's the thing about conferences. The content I can get online. The connections are the actual reason I go. So at every meal, I played a little game with myself. Even though I am an introvert, nobody believes this about me, but it's true. I put my plate down at a table full of strangers, and I just gave my introvert a little nudge to get into a conversation. Now, some of those conversations were duds. I fully admit it. Most were, perfectly pleasant, and a few turned into the kind of connection that makes the whole trip worth it. That's the same math as the learning autopsy. If you think about it, you don't know which table, which session, which conversation is the one until you've tried it, noticed what happened, and adjusted fast. So, where does this show up at work? I see I'm just going to stay because it's the polite thing to do, that instinct. I see it all the time with teams. The meeting that's, it's clearly not productive, but nobody ends early. The project update that everyone privately knows isn't working, but no one names it out loud. The initiative that's quietly failing while the team keeps giving it more time. Giving people explicit permission to run a fast, blameless autopsy and act on it is one of the simplest ways I know to build a team that actually learns instead of just enduring. So, next time something isn't working, a meeting, a project, an idea, try this. Stop, ask, what would I do differently right now? And act on the answer. That's the whole experiment. If you want all 52 experiments like this one, grab a copy of Innovation at Work. You can scan this QR code, or the link is right below. And you can also get a special leadership edition available only on my website, which includes an exclusive 5-part Innovation Leaders Edge video series. Everything you need to run your first micro experiment, get leadership buy-in, and build lasting innovation culture. And if you're sitting on a team that stays too long in things that aren't working, and you could use a thought partner, grab a free innovation strategy session at innovationatworkbook.com/call, or scan the QR code. Link is also in the description. If this was useful, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next one. Until next time, stay curious, stay playful, and keep creating the impossible. Ciao.